Okay, and we're just about ready to go live. Welcome to Love and Money Secrets TV, and this is Meditation Monday, Meditation Secrets for the Intuition Manifesto group and the meditation group on Facebook. And we're getting ready to get started here in just a few minutes. So we're going to let people start to trickle in. And it is, I think, a minute before the hour. And I hope you guys have had a fantastic weekend. I'm going to share with you a little poll that was recently taken, and we found out that 24% of all people polled said that they let their past determine their future. And for 76% of people polled, they said that they find it hard to let go of things that define themselves. So let's see here. I find it hard to let go of things that don't serve me. That's what it was, that don't serve me. So that, I think, is part of the human condition. I think that's part of what brings people to not just a mindfulness practice, but also a meditation practice. And so if you find yourself as identifying with the 24% of the people polled who say that they let their past determine their future. So if you are allowing your past to determine your future, that means that you are defining yourself as being limited to only having done what you've done in the past, which means that you're just going to be circling around and around doing the same thing, same place, maybe different faces, maybe even different places, but your behaviors, your actions, and your thoughts are going to be on a loop cycle of doing the same thing, same old, same old, same old. If you are part of the 76% of people who find it hard to let go of things that don't serve you, that is basically someone, you're finding yourself in a place where you're just holding on to things. You're not letting go of those things that aren't uplifting, that aren't benefiting you. And so one of the things that several of my professors, but one specifically who I mentioned actually in the book, The Intuition Manifesto, we've got Tori McClanahan just getting ready here to join us. Hi, Tori. Thanks for joining our Meditation Secrets tonight. Great to see you. Great, great. Well, I was just mentioning about how 24% of people who have been polled say that they have a difficult time with letting their past determine their future. And then 76% of people polled said that they find it hard to let go of things that no longer serve them. And in both instances, that is a characteristic of someone who is basically doing the same thing and not allowing themselves to move forward and to grow. And this is part of the human condition. We all are subject to this at a certain point throughout our lives, and then we come to a point where we're like, something has got to change. Something has got to, I don't know what it is that I'm doing wrong, but I know that I have to be I need to change something, some way, somehow. And so oftentimes that's what leads us to a mindfulness practice, to a consciousness practice, and to a meditation practice. And so one of the things that one of my mentors, for example, Dr. David Snyder, who he talks quite a bit about, increase your intelligence, and you can increase your results and your effectiveness in whatever you do by just having fun and increasing your vibrational state and being in a state of joy. Now, that's easier sometimes said than done, as many of us know, especially if you've had any kind of physical or emotional or both types of trauma. If you have trauma, in my case, I got hit by a bus, so that's not fun. That is not a high vibrational state to be in when you're like, all happy and jolly riding, 3 blocks shy of finishing a 16-mile bike ride, and boom, now you're airborne. You've got a laceration on your leg. You've got a brain injury, a neck injury. You're hurting, right? And I literally cried and said, why is this happening to me that day? Obviously, that didn't feel good. Now, did I linger there? No. Was it easy to get out of that state? No, but I knew that I couldn't be in that state of being sad and droopy. And yeah, I was in pain. I was in pain for a long time, and longer than I cared to admit. It went over a year, and I was still in terrible pain. At the 2 year mark, I was still, having to very gingerly lay down, and even to sit in my bed hurt my back and my neck and everything. To lay my head down on my pillow. So I had to do a lot of pain management. Now, I knew that the quickest way, my challenge was my body, not just my brain. Of course, I had the traumatic brain injury, but I had the thoughts separate from the actual injuries of my actual physical brain. So there's that challenge. And then there's the physical challenge of feeling pain in your body. And so just one tiny wrong move, too quick or too swift or not gently or gingerly enough, and it was like terrible pain. So I had to be constantly be reminding myself that the quickest way for me to turn that around was, one, was for me to make the choice, but number two is how I positioned my body also would affect my state of being. Again, the challenge was that certain positions were uncomfortable, certain positions were just straight out painful. So I really had to focus on the breath, which I had been told that so many years before. And I also talk about that in the Intuition Manifesto and many of these videos where we discuss how we've heard tons of guides and gurus and teachers and mentors who've said, focus on the breath. But to be honest with you, for me, just hearing focus on the breath wasn't enough. And I eventually came to understand really what they meant by focus on the breath. And I never thought that it was going to be tied to the neurosomatic practices that I was doing, but that was in good time it was revealed. And so focusing on the breath is, yes, you are focusing into the feeling of the breath, but it's also doing the breath in a certain pattern. There's hundreds of different types of breathing patterns that you can use to effectuate different things. And so I know that oftentimes people say, oh, I would love to meditate, but part of their challenge is like, oh, as soon as I sit down, even if it's just for 5 minutes to meditate, I've been going since early morning. By the time the evening comes and I want to do 5 minutes of meditation, as soon as I meditate, I pass out. And that's a very common occurrence. And so I want to address that, because one of the simplest things you can do separate from the breath before you even start to do the breath is not just sitting up, but sitting up straight with your spine straight up. And I'm going to say something that's going to sound like a total no-brainer, because of course, when you get tired, your eyelid starts to get heavy and your eyes start to droop down, and you start to automatically change your gaze from straight ahead to, you start to lower your gaze down, and your eyes start to go downward, and your eyelids start to feel heavy. And believe it or not, there's like 3 cell layers thick in the back of your retina. You have a piece of your brain that's actually exposed and connected to your eyes. So as you start to put your gaze down, it starts to disconnect the neural connections, which starts to make you unconscious, which is why you go to sleep. All the same, if you take your gaze and you are now looking straight forward, and you start to take your gaze and you do about a 90-degree, some people would say it's a 45-degree, but it could be as high as a 90-degree. But let's say a 45-degree angle where you're looking, if you were outside, you would be looking towards the sun maybe 3-4 hours before sunset. So by you taking your eyes and just increasing your gaze, where let's say you're looking at the plane where the ceiling and your wall intersect, at that level, you are actually, from the back of your eye, your nerves look like hands. They look like this. So as you look up, a connection is made. It's no different than you taking the switch on your wall and you go from the light being off to you turning it on. So now the electrical connection is made, and so now the energy is flowing. So just that simple little thing, step 1, take your gaze and look up. That is going to increase your energy, and it's going to increase your alertness. Now, I'm not going to get into the deep rabbit hole of all the neuroscience, but I wrote down just like 5 main things that I wanted to tell you about that, just to give you, so that you can ascribe a meaning, you can have a certain level of understanding, knowing what is neurophysiologically happening to you from a neuroanatomical point of view. So that simple little action of just going, okay, I'm going to sit down and meditate for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, whatever your time frame is. We have people at all different levels, beginners, to very advanced people who've been meditating 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. But this has to do with your neuroanatomy and how the mechanoreceptive aspect of how your brain works mechanically. So again, it's not based on your belief, it's based on neurophysiology. So step 1 is when you have something called norepinephrine that is actually released, which is a biochemical message that is released from your central nervous system, and it's a stress hormone that's released just as a result of the mechanics of your eyes. Again, your entire brain is inside your scalp, but behind your eyes you have 3 layers of cells that are attached to your retina. And so just by moving your eyes up or moving your eyes down will affect the state of being and your level of alertness. So that's the first thing. So from within your adrenal glands, you also have the regulation of that norepinephrine that is going to regulate numerous internal functions that keep your brain and your body running efficiently. And the next thing is that norepinephrine, as it's released when you're looking up, it's going to hose your entire brain. We got another person joining us here. I think someone named Suping. So the moment you lift your gaze up to that point, like the easiest thing is to just, like from where I'm sitting, if you're wherever you are in your room, if you're looking up at the plane where the ceiling and where the wall, those 2 points meet, if you just look up at that angle, the norepinephrine is going to start to be released from your central nervous system. And that's going to actually bathe your brain with a certain level of neurochemicals that are going to make you alert and awake, okay? And so that's going to bring your brain to attention so that now you can engage in the activity of meditation. And so then the second step, and putting your eyes to look up, that only takes 1 second. If you're super slow, it might take 2, but 1 second. So then the second thing is putting your chin up. Just by putting your chin up, think about it. When you're falling asleep, not only do your eyelids go down, your gaze goes down, and your head goes down, then literally the nerves are disconnected. And then, of course, you nod off and you go to sleep. If in turn you're looking up and your chin is up, that signals your brain because of that norepinephrine bath that your brain is getting. So that's the first thing. So the second thing about these meditation secrets that I want to share with you guys is the breath. So today I would like to share with you, I'm a big fan of having everyone. I think whether you are an Olympic athlete and you're super healthy and you're a peak performer, or you're someone who is struggling with any kind of disease or physical and emotional trauma that you're trying to heal from, if you're having anxiety, depression, PTSD, whatever circumstances that you're battling with, 100% of human beings can benefit from 25 long, deep breaths. And some of you guys are probably going, 25 long, deep breaths. Oh my gosh, that's going to take forever. Well, guess what? You're breathing all day long anyhow. So now I'm just asking you this is an investment. You don't have to do anything you don't want to. In fact, you don't even have to be on this broadcast. You don't even have to watch this. You have 400 hours of YouTube that are uploaded every minute. So you got a choice. But if you want to make a change and you want to start to do things differently, your physiology is the quickest way to do that. Because you only have a certain number of SRUs. Those are willpower units that we're born with. Some people have more SRUs than others. In Chinese medicine and the Taoists talk about how you have a certain amount of Jing. It's actually something that we can actually see on a person's face. It has to do with your constitution. Some people have more inherent energy than other individuals. Other people have a greater spirit presence where their spirit, maybe their willpower isn't as strong, but their spirit is really strong. So it doesn't matter. The bottom line is that the neurophysiology, if you're a human being and you fog up a mirror, whether you're a human being or you're an animal, the brain functions in the same way mechanoreceptively, which has to do with the mechanics of how it integrates the use of your eyes. You don't know how that works, right? But you're able to see nonetheless, and your eyes work, and your ears work, and your sense of smell, and your sense of taste, and your kinesthetic feeling through not only your hands, but the skin. You know, we've all had that feeling where maybe you can tell someone's looking at you, and then you turn around and you observe someone looking at you, or somebody says something and you get the chills, right? That's a kinesthetic response. It's also tied to your proprioceptive system. And your proprioceptive system is your ability to distinguish you as an entity, as a being. You are separate from the desk that's in front of you, the walls that are next to you. You probably all know someone who's been in umpteen accidents. Oftentimes those people are unaware that their proprioceptive system is a bit off because they're not able. Somebody whose autonomic nervous system is in proper sync, your autonomic nervous system automatically includes your car so that when you're driving, you inherently can judge the space in front of you, behind you, and all around your car. It extends to include your car because it recognizes that your car is part of your housing unit as you travel through space and time. So then you'll not bump into cars to the right or to the left. Oftentimes people who are in a lot of those car accidents, because their proprioceptive system is a bit off, they will literally hit cars to the right, to the left. They'll have cars that they'll hit that are in front of them. They're literally bouncing off of other cars, sometimes center dividers, all sorts of strange things like that, because their proprioceptive system is off. Your interoceptive system has to do with your gut feelings. In meditation, as you continue to meditate, one of the wonderful meditation secrets that I think are not oftentimes spoken about, but part of the healing process is that your gut feeling becomes more fine-tuned. Along with your gut feeling, your interoceptive system, that also gives you the chills throughout your body sometimes, your proprioceptive system that we just discussed. As you integrate all these different systems, your intuition starts to increase and it becomes more fine-tuned. And as you choose to pay more attention to it, then you can use that with a greater degree of certainty and clarity to make decisions in your life. So as you are putting into effect, putting up your gaze, and now you're going to start to use your breath. Your breath, the first thing to know is your breath alkalizes your body. Any kind of inflammation in your body. If you have diabetes, if you have MS, if you have Parkinson's, any kind of neurological disorder, if you have any form of cancer, if you have any disease really of any sort, the presence of any kind of disease is an automatic marker and a signal. It's letting you know, it's a red flag letting you know you have way too much inflammation somewhere in the body, either in an organ or an organ system of your body. So the quickest way to offload carbon monoxide and dioxide as you inhale and as you inhale and you exhale. As you know, we exhale carbon dioxide. So you're offloading that carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, and then you're bringing in oxygenation, which is going to eliminate the inflammation in your body. So your pH level is going to go up and you're more alkalized, and then it starts to literally disintegrate and dissolve the inflammation in your body. We've seen so many spectacular reports back of people who are benefiting from this. So we're going to start off with the box breathing. And so my intention is to help you guys be able to increase the length of your meditations. Believe it or not, if you can do a 10 or 15 minute meditation, you can do a 1, 2, or 3 hour meditation. You just haven't been guided to do so. And that's the only reason why you haven't done it. Because as you continue with your meditation, one of the things that you'll quickly realize and become aware of is that as you get into that theta state, which is inevitable through the use of your eyes, so as you're looking up, that's signaling your brain to be alert. Your body's still relaxed. because the formula is to be relaxed and awake. So as you do that, the first thing is to put your eyes up, and then as you close your eyes and you're telling your body, okay, I'm going to relax my body from the top of my head down to my toes, and then I am going to do these deep breaths. So it doesn't matter if you're doing a guided meditation that someone else is guiding you to, or if you're choosing to put your own music on and you're wanting to do a guided meditation that you yourself are guiding yourself. You're deciding, okay, my intention for this meditation is to maybe you want to release a certain pain, a spot or areas of your body that have pain. Or perhaps your intention is to, maybe you have areas of pain in your body and you're looking to spread, you know what, there's the majority of my body feels good. I just have this one area or these two areas that are of pain. So I want to radiate that feeling of well-being that's throughout my arms, my hands, my head, whatever those areas are. And I want to radiate them out so that they cover all areas of my body, so that my body, rather than focusing on dissolving the pain, you might want to focus on spreading the feeling of goodness throughout your body. So goodness, that signals and reminds me to tell you guys about one of the things that I started to tell you at the beginning that I kind of teased you with, that when you are in a playful manner and you're playing, you're pretending, you're making believe, the research shows that not only do you become more intelligent, but the resistance that you have inherently in your body will drop. There's actually a guy who runs a company called Black Swan, and he's been an FBI negotiator for like 25 years. He's a fellow USC grad, and some of you may be familiar with, he's got several books that he's published, and he deals with a lot of Fortune companies, and he has done many different hostage negotiations. And one of the things that he found throughout his career has been that as he was more playful with the person that he was negotiating with, which oftentimes was someone who was holding somebody hostage, which, think about it, that's got to be the most conflictive, the most belligerent, the most hostile, the most unfriendly type of human being you can imagine on the face of the earth. Wouldn't you agree? Somebody who's taken somebody as hostage is not going to be a nice guy, right? And yet he found that he was able to reduce resistance, and he was able to negotiate more effectively as he became more playful in that negotiations. So there we have that duality actually within us. You know, we talk about having our light side and we have our shadow side. We have, you know, what's on our left brain, which is our ego. I like to identify the ego, and then next to our ego is our brain, because the brain is just following the instructions. The ego is trying to tell us what to do to keep us, you know, committed to our familiar past. Then there's your right side of your brain. You want to stay in your right mind. You want to be able to be connected to that intuition, be connected to that divine place, right? So the two oftentimes are in conflict. And so as you are more playful with yourself and you're starting to recognize how your ego shows up as fear, shows up as pain, it shows up as worry, as hurry. I like to call worry and hurry the offsprings of fear, because a fear response is pretty obvious, just like an anger response is pretty obvious. So it's like, okay, fear, anger, that's my ego. What's not so obvious is, if I feel like I have to hurry up, that's basically my ego trying to make me feel like there's not enough of me to go around. There's not enough time. I'm not good enough to get it all done. So I got to hurry. Or I have to worry because there's not enough of me to go around. I'm not going to make it. I'm just struggling to make it happen. I'm struggling to finish my work. I'm struggling to meet the deadline. I'm struggling. I mean, you get the picture, right? So those are both places of lack and not enoughness, which is a lie, because you are enough. You're perfect as you are, but your ego doesn't want you to think you are, so it's going to push you and prod you and have you hurry, have you worry. Once you recognize that, you can go, no, hurry and worry, that's ego, time out. And you can play with your ego. You're going to go, Oh, ego, I used to think that way. I used to totally buy into that programming, but I'm not doing that anymore. Nope. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I recognize that for it is. That's how I used to be. I don't do that anymore. So, ego, I'm going to put you in timeout. My cute little.
That was easy.
So you just go hit that button. For a long time, I just had it in my head. I didn't have this button. I only bought this button because of these YouTube videos and how I'm sharing these classes online just to show you guys that I would see this in my mind's eye and I would hear it. That was easy because the old one I had said staples on it. This one just says easy. But you can visualize that. Hit the ego and say, you're in timeout. Brain, you do as I say. You two monkeys have been my CEOs, the co-chairman of the boards. You've been bossing me around for way too long. Nope, not gonna do that anymore. I'm more aware now. There's a new kid in town. It's called I'm in my right mind. I'm not in my left mind anymore, thank God. And so now you choose to slow down your breath. As you're slowing down your breath, we're gonna do the box breathing, and we're gonna do this is the most elemental breathing, which is called the box. It's the 4-4-4. So you're going to inhale for 4 breaths, you're going to hold for 4 breaths, and then you're going to exhale for 4. As you continue to do this more and more, then you can increase it to 8 breaths. Inhale slowly. The key to the breathing is to breathe as slowly as you can. And it doesn't matter the rate and speed or the speed or the slowing, how slow you count the numbers. This is all for you. So it doesn't matter what other people do. This is all about you and your practice. This is you knowing you. You may decide it's like, I might be counting to 4, and you might decide maybe this first time you'll just go along with it. But maybe when you watch this replay, maybe you'll decide, you know what, I'm going to do it to a count of 8. Because I can feel that I can breathe in as slowly as I can to a count of 8. I can easily hold to a count of 8, and I can exhale to a count of 8. And you get to choose the speed and rate at which you count, and you get to decide the speed and rate at which you inhale. Only you can know that you're breathing in as slowly as you can. And if in the next set it varies, maybe you can't hold a whole 4, you can't hold a whole 8, no big deal. You hold as much as you can, and then you start the next set. There's no any beating up saying, oh, I totally missed that, or I'm off. That's your ego. It's like, ego, I'm on to you. Nope. There's no such thing as doing this wrong. This is all for you. The only one who's going to know is you. Nonetheless, no matter what, your body is being alkalized. And you're also feeling the feeling of the breath as you're coming in, which is part of your mindfulness practice and meditation. Let's remember that meditation is to know yourself. So as you start this practice in time, one of the things that I started noticing, it's like, wow, the more I do the breath, there comes a point in time where I'm noticing that instead of just counting up to 8, I can count up, I can be holding at the top, and I can go to 20. Wow, I think I can go up to 30. My gosh, I think I can go up to 40. You're not competing with anyone. You're just noticing that as you oxygenate your body more, and you're doing this deep breath because you're emptying out, in essence, part of what you're doing is, we are shallow breathers for the most part. So, and one of the benefits of meditation is that you are focusing on the breath and you're breathing in a certain manner. But you're also emptying out the stagnant air that's at the bottom of your lungs, because your lungs are 2 like sacs of air that cover this entire area. So at the bottom of your lungs, oftentimes that stagnant air, for some people, it's in there for years. If you are a daily meditator, then you never go more than 24 hours a day without recycling all that air, and you don't have any stagnant air in your lungs any longer, right? Because you're taking that deep inhale, and you hold, and you exhale. And as you're exhaling all the way out, so your lungs are completely empty all the way down. And then you hold. And then you start the inhale again. As you were doing that, you are pumping a lot of oxygen not only into your lungs, but it's automatically going to go into your autonomic nervous system, your central nervous system, and then because your spine is the electromagnetic highway that flows not just electricity and energy, but it's also what's charging your blood with oxygen, and so then it spreads out in every direction to your limbs, to your head, to your all the way down to your toes. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with just the counts of 4, and then notice as you're doing this, notice how you're feeling inside your body. Notice the sensations. As we close our eyes, I also want to direct you as you close your eyes and you're looking upward. When you close your eyelids down, you're going to keep your gaze inside your eyelids, still looking towards your eyebrows, which is still towards that plane where the wall and the ceiling of your room meets, okay? What that does is, again, I already talked about the alertness aspect, but it's an automatic biohack for your brain for you to go into instant theta state. The last thing I'm going to tell you is that as you are doing your meditative practice, know that every time you meditate, you can tell your brain, like that's part of setting your intention. You set the intention and you say to your brain, okay, brain, here we are. We're meditating again. I'm going to go deeper than I ever have before. My body knows how to relax. I know how to do this. So whatever state of relaxation, whatever the deepest point that I've ever been, I'm going to go even deeper. I'm going to pick up where I left off and I'm going to go even deeper. And your brain goes, oh, really? That's what we're going to do? Okay. And then it just does it because the neural pathways are already there. You already have the grooves in your brain and now you're just commanding those grooves to go deeper and longer. Okay? Does that make sense? So let's do the box breathing, and we're going to start. We're going to do a count of 4 inhales. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to hold 2, 3, 4, and exhale 2, 3, 4. As you exhale, try and push all the air out, and then when we reach at the bottom, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So let's start. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. 5, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. 7, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. 11, 2, 3, 4. hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. 12, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. 14, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. 15, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. 16, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. 17, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. 18, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. 19, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. 20, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. 21, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. 22, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. 23, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. 25, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And that is a meditation in and of itself, just doing those 25 long, deep breaths. You've given your body an incredible gift. You've reduced your inflammation. You can do this 2, 3, 4 times a day. For people who are very ill, I recommend that you start off once a day, and then over the course of 2 or 3 days, increase it to 2 to 3 times a day. And first thing in the morning, before you get out of bed, before you're fully awake, I myself do 25 long, deep breaths every morning and every night without fail, because it is the best thing that I can do to keep my body happy and healthy and invigorated. There's all sorts of preventive aspects to getting any kind of illness, because you're oxygenating your body. Any free radicals that are running around wild in your system that want to clump up and turn into any kind of tumorous or any kind of malignancy isn't going to happen, because you're literally dissolving it with the breath. So I can't emphasize this enough. Again, this is for everyone. It's something that I think that everyone should be implementing. Let me check really quick here. We've got somebody. You love that button. I love that button too. You guys, this is not sponsored by either Staples or the Easy Button or by Amazon, but I did buy it on Amazon. And they have red buttons, yellow buttons, and they have all sorts of different words. I just got this one easy because I was looking for the one that was like the Staples button that said, that was easy. Because I like that affirmation. And that's what I was hearing in my head from the original one that I had. Who knows whatever happened to that? That was a long time ago. So yeah, you can get that. I think they're like $9-10. They're not very much at all. So if you want to get one, and it's fun. It's just a fun to do, but I love that button as well. So if you have any questions, let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to continue on and talk about a few other things pertaining to meditation secrets. If you do have a question, just in the bottom of your screen where it says reactions, you can there's a little button here that says raise hand. All you have to do is click that, and then that will raise your hand, and then I can call on you. So the other meditation secret that I want to share with you guys that I think is important, not just, I do this myself as I do, whether I do a guided meditation. Let's say I'm listening to one of Dr. Joe's, The Body Electric, for example, or The Alchemist, two of his most recent guided meditations, which are phenomenal. But I also do this when I do this on my own, when I'm not using one where I'm actually guided by someone and I'm just doing my own self-guided meditation. So one of the things that I picture is, and this is, there's a Lacrone, I think it's called the Lacrone bar. I'm going to have to look up the name because right now the name has escaped me. It's a French name, and it has to do with taking you down into a very deep trance-like relaxed state, so that you can access those higher levels of consciousness. But the bottom line is this: what you're doing is, when you first start off, some people start with 100. I never really started with 100, but I have always done it with 10. I'm doing 10 breaths, and on top of that, I am visualizing myself going down 10 black stairs. And what you're doing is, as your subconscious mind and your conscious mind is aware that you're actually descending from the top stair, and you're going into a deeper level of consciousness, knowing that with each step that you take, you're also relaxing your body from head to toe. And so you're priming yourself. And after you do this for a while, your body just knows, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. And it'll automatically take you in right away. That's signaling, pay attention, because this is important. Because again, your neurological pathways the groundwork is already there. So these connections have already been made. So each time you do it, now there's going to come a time where instead of having to do 10 steps, 10 deep breaths, literally in 3 breaths, you'll be able to accomplish the same thing, because your body is so conditioned and your brain is so conditioned to what the signal is to your body, that in 3 breaths, you'll be able to be in that deep theta state, slipping into alpha. It's like effortless. Now, let's talk a little bit about the theta and the alpha state, because I think oftentimes that is a mystery to a lot of people, and they're like, how do you know that you're in theta? How do you know that you're actually in that alpha state of being? Well, one of the things about the theta state is, like I said, as soon as you bring your eyeballs up and you have your eyes closed, and now you're looking up into your eyebrows. You'll even sometimes see some people where you just see the white of their eyes and you don't see the colored part. They're automatically going into theta state. And one of the things that I noticed with myself, and this isn't something, the feeling isn't there all the time. After you have noticed it like a certain number of times, then you're like, okay, you just know that you're in theta state, and you just trust it, and then you're on to the next thing. So I don't really look to see if I'm in theta state. I know that I'm in theta state, so I just kind of go with it. But I noticed earlier in my meditative practice, I would notice that there was a shift where I would actually feel, sometimes I would feel like my body just kind of like sink. Sometimes I would actually feel my spirit leaving from the back of my head diagonally, like in that direction. And it's like just like a downshift, almost like if you've ever driven a car that stick shift, and you go from 5th gear to 4th gear to 3rd gear. You know how you feel that downshift? It's similar. It's a sensation that can be similar to that. The other way of knowing that you're in theta state is that let's say you have your hands on your lap and you're just sitting upright. And as you're sitting upright and you're focusing on your breath, you're doing your deep breathing, you've got your eyes up, rolled up into your head, and you're going to do a deep, meditation, and you have whatever your intention is, either for healing, you're creating either a healing situation, you're creating more happiness, more peace, maybe you're trying to manifest something, and that's what you're creating in that moment in time. The bottom line is that as you start with this process, you're going to quickly become aware as you're noticing you're no one, nobody, no thing, nowhere, no place, and no time. And so I notice almost immediately, it's like, it's like I know I have arms, but I can't feel my arms anymore. It's like the first thing is like, I can't feel my arms. I don't have a distinction of what my arms feel like. And then as I pay attention to that, I'm like, I can't feel the rest of my body either. I have the awareness inside my body, but I don't really feel like my individual hands, my arms, my legs. It's very non-distinct, non-local. So that's where your consciousness, you have the expansion of your consciousness, where you have a convergent focus, where your consciousness is inside whatever organ system of the body, whether it's in your pineal gland, your first, your second, your third, your fourth, your fifth, your sixth, your seventh, or your eighth energy center, or maybe it's in your eyes because you're trying to improve your eyesight. Wherever it is inside your body, that's a convergent focus. And then the next thing is to do a divergent focus, because that's how you get into heart and into brain coherence. When you now take your consciousness and in that state, and you're clearly in theta state, probably even in alpha state, you take your awareness where, let's say you're focusing on your heart as an example. So you feel your heart. You can feel your heart. You've chosen to have an open heart. You have the most open heart you've ever had. You're feeling the most love you've ever had. It's this unconditional, grateful, filled with appreciation heart space. And then you take the awareness of who it is that you are, and then you're taking it to encompass all around your body. And then you take it and you have it fill the entire room that you're in. And then you take it and you have it, basically your consciousness expands. That divergent focus is now going to cover your entire house, your entire property. Maybe not just the inside of your property, but maybe it's this giant conscious bubble that is now covering the entire property, down to the street, to the left, to the right, to wherever your back neighbor is. And then you continue to expand it on and on and on. I mean, you can go all the way to cover your state or your country, your continent. You can even cover the entire globe. Heck, you can even go beyond the solar system, et cetera, beyond the Milky Way. There's no limit to this. This is infinite, okay? So that practice of taking your focus of your conscious awareness, which is it's you're choosing to use your free will to decide how you're going to focus your awareness, your conscious state of being, from being inside and local to outside. That automatically gets your heart and your brain into a certain range of coherence, so that now they're connected for once. Because oftentimes as we move through space and time, our heart and our brains are not connected. We're primarily staying in our left mind, totally overusing our left brain, not really paying any heed or attention, or being even aware that we have a heart, that our heart is supposed to be connected to our brain so that you could be in your right mind, right? So as you are moving into this, now you're recognizing the sensation is different when you are in your right mind and you have this heart and brain coherence. And you are calm. You're in a calm, peaceful state. Now, I wanted to tip you guys off and kind of let you know another aspect about the meditation secrets and practices, because oftentimes we wonder, well, how is it that, special forces agents, they're in like do or die situations all the time. That's what they do for a living, right? And so they're obviously really tapping into their adrenals and having a lot of fight or flight responses, but you don't see them wigging out. They don't freak out. They don't go postal. They have a very controlled manner and way of being, and they're trained to be in a circumstance which would normally elicit a fight or flight response, but they're aware of some of these meditative practices, and they use the breath, and they also use this being in their right mind, because they have to be clear, they have to be certain, they have to be clear, they can't have any fogginess. That 1% of doubt in that split second could cost them or someone around them one of their buddies' lives. And so they can't afford that kind of luxury of not being clear, of being just a 2-second indecisiveness. Boom, someone could be out. And so special forces agents, oftentimes people in the medical field, especially in the emergency room, first responders, paramedics, etc., part of the way that they're able to keep their wits about them, where we see all sorts of terrible things, horrible trauma, right? And so you have to be in a very clear-minded place so that you can quickly, literally within seconds, not even 30 seconds, in 15 seconds, ABC, quickly, you can diagnose and you can assess somebody in a split second, so that you know exactly what is the next step that you need to do to keep this person alive, to keep this person who sometimes is vacillating between life and death. You can make split second decisions so that you can move them over from maybe wanting to tip over to the side of passing on, to move them over to the other side of the fence, so that they're getting more stabilized literally with every beat of their heart. Or if they don't have a heartbeat, get them to jumpstart their heartbeat, so that now you can move them out of shock and into stability. And it's by focusing on the breath, being very conscious and aware, and not giving in to the sirens, the flashing lights, all the chaos that's going around us. So these are things that are in place that now we can put into action, and it's like our little arsenal of tools that we can implement in our meditative practices. Can't believe it. It's already been 50 minutes, and I feel like we just got started 15 minutes ago. So does anybody have any questions about this so far? Okay. So I think if I start on another process, I think that it'll probably go another 30 to 45 minutes. So rather than do that, since we're getting close to the 1 hour mark, I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to call it a wrap for this week's session of Meditation Secrets. I've got some more goodies to share with you next Monday. And unless you have any questions, you can also put questions if later on you think of a question that you want to ask that you maybe didn't think of during the broadcast. You can always put it in the YouTube comments. I always go back and comb through those and try to reply back to everyone either individually, or will reply on the next broadcast, which will be next Monday at 8 p.m. Okay? So thank you for tuning in, and we will have a beautiful rest of this evening. And as always, my friends and gems, ciao for now.
Bye.
Bye.